Hi, today we will go through the some of the DAX functions which I have worked on, and some of them I have documented from DAX.guide website here. So I will segregate them based on the priority and people use them in their projects. So I have segregated DAX functions in different categories. So most of categories and DAX functions I have copied from DAX.guide. So we will play with different samples mm, of each DAX function, and we will try to uh, become experts in using them in the projects wherever you required and wherever you need it. So let's click on DAX guide. Let's close other tabs. So DAX Guide website is the most popular website for all learners or DAX learners. It has everything. So if you want to become experts and please keep track of what is being operated in this website and play around it. You can find um, all the DAX functions along with the samples in this website. So let's go to the groups. So same like they have segregated the DAX or functions in different categories: functions, data types, operators, and statements. You can click on DAX functions. So again, DAX functions are different categories. So DAX is nothing but a tabular model or a model, and we use different DAX functions and uh, and different DAX functions to for the manipulation and implementation with some business logic or to relate parent-child tables and establish a relationships, and we use some statistical functions to create measures, and some of the other functions to create measures. So it supports these basic integer string data types and other operators you can use, same like in Excel. So DAX is nothing but Excel uh, formal language, I can say. And some of the statements you use them mostly in the DAX Studio to define queries, as well as you can use in Visual Studio in your project as well, depends on your requirement. So I will go through the Excel in this video, and we'll talk about few DAX functions theoretically, but we will not writing any DAX code at this moment. So we'll in next videos we'll go each DAX function and play around with, and from starting, and we'll try to understand the basic syntax of DAX. Okay, so these statements we will talk later. So when I prepare a small tabular model project or Power BI model, I will talk about these statements. These are very important statements we use in each and every measure. I should say measure of the statements like define, evaluate, and return and where. These are very much important. This will we don't use generally in any project, not mostly used one. It is for you to analyze the model by ordering queries in same like SQL. So these are the different parameters. Okay, so if you go to the time intelligence, there are different time intelligence functions available for us to create different metrics and traverse different time periods. So we'll talk about when we work with the date dimension and basic text functions. These are the basic text functions. And let's go back to table manipulation functions. So table manipulation functions, we have some important functions, I should say. Those are like distinct. Mostly we use distinct, accept, filters. We use in most of the measures, and generate. This is like for each in C sharp, and we will use natural inner join when you want to establish a join between tables and when where you haven't established any real relationship between tables in your model, so you want to do it dynamically, you will do with this natural inner join. And other summarize, this is to get your summarized data from your table. And other functions, this values plays the important role in your development, like it will bring the all selected values from your slicer with comma separated, and you can use filter on top of it to filter out the data from your table. So we'll play around those all those functions in later videos. And go to the statistics. To be frank, haven't used many statistics functions except rank x, and I haven't used so far. I don't know people are using them really, unless you have some statistics or requirement in your project. I don't think so. You need to put some efforts on it unless required, but you better to know what are those. So we'll see end of the tutorial. We'll have 1 hour session and go through the what are the statistical functions and what is the use of them and where we will use. And relationships management. Let's go. So we'll use related table. This is very important to understand the difference between them. And use relationship, and so it will, if you, let's say you have disabled a relationship or not enabled a relationship, if you want to use a relationship between two tables, you can do with this, and we'll see how it works. And other one is parent child. So parent child, like employee hierarchy, like manager and employees, or date dimension, year, quarter, month. So there's a parent child. So you use these functions for you to get the path from child to parent, and we'll use it for different purposes. But we'll use them because the tabular model doesn't support inbuilt parent-child relationship like a multidimensional cube. So we use these functions to create a different uh, nodes, and then we create a hierarchy to establish a relationship between parent and child. Yeah, these are all some of the important functions we have here. And arrow and earlier and earliest. So, and blank, this is one of the important function as well. Let's go to this logical. So logical functions, these we use generally if and same like C# and programming languages, the logical functions. We'll see how these will be used. But please be noted that when you use any logical functions in your tabular model, its impact on your performance. So please, you have to be wise enough to decide when to use them in your project. So information. So these are some of the important functions we have, like contains, and has one filter, has one value, is blank, is empty, is error, is filtered. Uh, so these are the very important. And use principal name. So it will give you your email address to implement security in your model, tabular model or Power BI model, and different filter functions, and selected value, and calculate. Calculate is the first function a developer will start using it. So you will start with calculate function when you start doing creating DAX functions first, and then we'll follow with other related functions as well. So calculate is the function we use each and everywhere because it is the filtered function. So to create measures with some filters with some value, attribute value, use calculate. And the aggregate functions, sum and min, average. So some of the aggregation functions, common aggregation functions supported by Power BI as well, DAX as well, and other datetime functions. Yeah, this is just introduction about the DAX. So DAX is the data analysis expression language, specifically meant for Excel earlier. And now once Power BI product in the into the market, so DAX is being used in Power BI and SSH tabular model to implement complex tabular models, business logic, and creating measures and many other different purposes. So let's go back to our Excel. So I have documented some of the functions. We will go to some important functions and we'll play around them and prepare some samples and try to understand uh, how they work. So I will try to use adventurous database from Microsoft, and we'll try to make it as simple as to understand some simple like natural language. You work with C Sharp or Java or any other programming language. It is also programming language, kind of programming language, but it's behaves in different way. So we'll go through all of these important functions in we'll try to learn as much as we can. Thank you.